Welcome to the Joy School Podcast. Real talk about what it takes to create your happiest, healthiest, and most dynamic life. And now, here's your host, transformational life coach, happiness strategist, and best-selling author, Kristi Ling Spencer.
Well, hey there, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the show. I am so happy that you've chosen to hang out with me once again. Thank you so much for being here. And if this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. And this is going to be such a fun episode because we're going to be talking about 6 of the core ways to make big things happen. 6 ways that you can become a make it happen person, as I like to call it. So, you know, those people who just seem to have great luck and they make things happen and they have great achievements and they set goals and they make them happen. There's foundational elements that play a part in that. And maybe you already consider yourself a make it happen person. I know I do generally, but we can all step it up and really hone in on the foundational elements that can support us in actually really taking charge and making our dreams and goals happen and moving that needle forward. And really getting to know what those foundational elements are that will support you in those areas can be truly life-changing. If you're already a make it happen person, this can help you level it up or get clear on what your next goal is, right? And if you feel like you've been a little bit more passive, that your personality and your nature is a little more passive, and if something seems too hard or too far away, that you generally let it go, but you'd like to not be that way, that you'd maybe like to stretch yourself a little bit, this is definitely the episode for you. So I remember when I first was writing the proposal for my book, Operation Happiness, I can't tell you how many people I had tell me that were in the industry, in coaching or in publishing and personal development world, telling me, oh, a book about happiness, you know, people aren't going to buy that, or you're not going to be able to get a book deal because it's just too general and too broad. And I was like, well, it's a broad subject, but nobody has said it the way I'm saying it. I have new things to say here. Like I knew, and I just believed that book could help a lot of people. So I bypassed the naysayers and I refused the suggestions from various people to change the title, to change the subject, to change the direction of what it was that I felt called to share with the world. And my belief in that and my knowing that I wanted to move it forward and that it was a priority for me and then taking action to do that led not only to a fantastic agent and a fantastic book deal, but now selling out of the hard copies and helping thousands and thousands of people over this last few years since the book came out. And that's really such an example. First of all, I'm so grateful for it. I am so grateful to all of you who might have already read the book. And if you don't have a copy yet, it is Operation Happiness. There's actually an audiobook, which is doing really well. I think audiobooks are like the thing now, huh? I love audiobooks too, actually. But I also love a paper book. I'm not much of a Kindle person because when I want to break from a device, I actually want to hold a paper book in my hand and maybe be in a park or relaxing in my house somewhere. But that's a whole nother episode, getting off of screens, right? But so back to the creation of Operation Happiness, I had to do a lot of the 6 things that we're going to talk about on the show today to make that book a reality. And one that we're not really going to talk about so much, but also really could be the 7th thing, was that I believed in it. Because as I like to always say, before you can really dive into making anything happen, you have to believe in it with all of your being. And I believed in that book, so I didn't listen. I followed these 6 things and I made it happen. And as a result, it's been able to help so many people. So I'm so grateful for that. Thank you to all of you who have read it or are planning to read it. I really do believe in it. And actually, I am working on a paperback edition of that book now. So really excited for that. And I will keep you all posted. But with that little story there, when you have a dream or a goal that you really believe in, these 6 things can really help you. And they can also help you in general in your life in making even the smallest things happen that you desire, that are in alignment with where you want to head, right? So let's dive in. So number 1 is be willing to try things on for size. Now, you've probably heard that saying before, try it on for size. Well, did you know you can actually try goals on for size? You can try dreams and desires on for size. Most things are not a permanent commitment. So if you dream of moving to a new city, try arranging things so that you can grab a rental there for 1 month, a short-term rental, and try it out. Bring a couple suitcases with you and just see what it's like to live as a local. You don't have to do the big move and commit to something that big to try it on for size. Or if you dream of starting a business or getting into a new field, try volunteering or interning for a day at a company that's aligned with that area, right? With the area you're interested in getting into. You don't have to quit what you're doing now and go find a new job or launch that business right away if you're feeling uneasy about it. Try it on for size, dip your toes in. Or if you're thinking about taking a big trip, but you're trying to get the courage to book it, and maybe you are going to travel alone, or your spouse, it doesn't really, get excited about the idea. Try going to a local cafe that represents where you'd like to travel and just immerse yourself for an hour or so in the feeling of being there, right? There are so many great cafes that have different themes. There's a wonderful Parisian cafe near where I live, and I love just going there and sitting and maybe having a glass of wine and a salad or a piece of quiche and just enjoying immersing myself and being in that environment that represents the feeling of being in Paris, right? So try things on for size. It's a really great way to build the courage to take that next step. And it's also a great way to see if maybe something really isn't a fit for you after all, right? Because sometimes we dream of something or we have a goal or we think we want to do something, but actually when we try it out, it's not really a fit for who we are, or it loses its luster when we find out some of the details on it that we didn't know about before, right? So think out of the box of ways that you can try things on for size. All right. Number 2, be willing to commit to moving the needle every single day, no matter how small. This is a mindful practice. When you have a goal in your life that you're trying to reach, you have something you're trying to launch, you have a new habit you're trying to create personally. Maybe it's in alignment with your health or another area of your life that you'd like to improve or grow. Be willing to commit every single day to doing at least one thing or more to move things forward in the right direction. Even the smallest steps that move the needle make a difference. They all matter. And here's the thing. None of us is totally on our game every single day. We all have our off days. Even make it happen people have days when they just don't even feel like doing anything. There's days when I wake up and I'm like, I just can't today. I just can't, right? We all have those days. But here's the thing, the difference between the people that make things happen and the ones that are just passive, that don't really seem to reach where they want to go, is that the people who are make it happen people, even on their off days, they do one little thing to move things forward. They send that one email. They make that one call. They do one thing to move the dream forward. And they also have an inner knowing that it's part of the human experience to have off days now and then. And sometimes a day of rest is exactly what we need to really have great days moving things forward, right? To get our energy back. So that's really what that's about, is managing those days. And make it happen. People have the inner knowing that they're going to have plenty of good days when they can really dive in and move things ahead, right? So honor your off days, honor that energy. Don't beat yourself up, because that will just result in burnout. And also it could really result in artificially losing interest in your dream, right? When we burn ourselves out on something, even if we're passionate about it, even if we love it, it can lose its luster for a while and throw us off track. So allow yourself an off day now and then, but be willing to commit to moving the needle every single day, even in the smallest way. This is the difference, my friends. All right. Number 3, be willing to fail. It's totally okay if you fall on your face. I have done it plenty of times, believe me. And actually, back to the story of my book, right? Operation Happiness. The first version of that book, I actually wrote the proposal for it about 2 years before I rewrote it and created the final proposal for Operation Happiness. And the original version of the book was called Happiness is Free, I think. And there's a really, really old book written many, many years ago with that same title. So that was a temporary title, but I didn't even have the title yet. And the first version of the proposal I had written for a contest, which I didn't win. And I didn't let that failure stop me from moving forward when the time was right with really having that book develop into all it was meant to be, right? I didn't let it stop me. So be willing to fail and know that failure is actually part of success. It really is. The most successful people in the world have failed many, many, many times, and they have gotten back up and not let it discourage them and not let it have them lose faith in who they are and what they believe in. And the most successful people have been told no more times than they can count. Believe me, I've been told no so many times in my life, and I really just believe it's a redirection to the right thing. Sometimes a rejection is a redirection, right? You might have heard that before. So here's the thing. Also, failure many times is just pointing us to the next right step. So maybe it was only that most recent step we took that kind of messed things up, right? Or maybe it was only one element in the steps you were taking. And so a failure can just mean, hey, take another look and see if there's a different way to do this. And it also means you tried. If you fail, it means that you're already embodying the nature of a make it happen person, right? So don't be afraid. Failure is actually a good thing 98% of the time. And even that 2% when it's not so great, we still learn from it and grow. And maybe it'll be the catalyst for us to try what we're really meant for, right? All right, number 4. This is a big one, and it might be the hardest of all. Be willing to disappoint people. Oh, this one is so tough, especially if you have a people-pleasing nature like I do. I've had to work really hard over the years on not being such a people pleaser. It's not necessarily healthful, and it doesn't necessarily help move us toward our goals and our dreams. And it certainly doesn't support our own self-care and prioritizing what we desire in our life. So there's a big difference between wanting to please people in a good way, in a healthy way, and make people happy or be kind or do things to support our loved ones and our friends and people in our life, right? Between that and actually being a chronic people pleaser where we sacrifice things that we want, sacrifice our own well-being or our own mental or emotional fitness for the sake of pleasing others. There's a big difference in those two things. So we have to be willing to disappoint people when we are so sure about where we want to go and what our dreams are and what we want to make happen. Because the thing is, not everyone is going to like it or agree. People you love in your life are sometimes the first one to tell you, oh, that's not a great idea, or I don't really see you doing that. And it doesn't mean they don't love you, and it doesn't even mean they don't support you. You're just going to have naysayers no matter what. Or there's going to be people who just don't agree with what you're doing, or who don't think it's the right fit, or who might think it's too risky, right? They care about you enough and they love you. They don't want to see you take a risk. But the thing is, you've got to take risks to move the needle in life. And sometimes when you do that, you're going to disappoint some people. And you also have to prioritize saying no to some things when you align yourself with prioritizing your goals. Because when you align yourself with prioritizing your own dreams and goals and desires, there will be a lot of things that try to get in your way, or maybe previous commitments that you've made that you need to dissolve and gracefully bow out of in order to be able to prioritize and have that energy and have the mindset to go after what it is you want. So be willing to gracefully and lovingly disappoint people. All right. Number 5. I love this one. Nurture your confidence in your abilities. Now, this really comes down to taking part in practices and mindsets and even programs that help to nurture your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your inner knowing in your capabilities to make things happen. Your deep knowing that you're always going to land on your feet no matter what. It takes practice and it takes work to really solidify and develop this type of confidence and this type of belief in yourself. I've had to work so hard on it. And every now and then I feel myself sort of getting out of alignment and falling off the wagon here a little bit. And I always circle back to the mindset work and the personal growth work that really helps to support developing self-confidence and belief in ourselves and self-worth. That inner knowing, when you have that kind of confidence and you know that you'll always land on your feet and that you'll be okay no matter what, this is a foundational thing. And it will really support you when you're ready to step forward into making something happen, because you know you're good and you've got confidence and you're like, I've got this, right? So what I want you to do right now is I'm going to give you a second or two to do it. I want you, wherever you are right now, and if you're in your office with other people or something, you can whisper it, but I want you to audibly say the words, I've got this. Are you ready? Let's go. I've got this. You've got this, right? It feels good just to speak those words. And the words we speak to ourselves, by the way, make a big difference in nurturing our confidence and our self-worth and our self-esteem, right? So be careful about the words you speak to yourself and work on adding some words to your vocabulary that feel supportive, some affirmations that feel like they build you up, right? And work those in and try to use them on a frequent basis. That's a great place to start when you want to grow and nurture your confidence and your confidence in your own abilities. Because make it happen, people are always very confident in their own ability. They're confident enough that they're actually willing to do things when they're afraid, even though they're afraid, because sometimes when you've got a big goal or a big dream, it's going to be a little scary, right? And there is actually such a thing of being fearful of success. And when you nurture your confidence and your belief in your abilities, it helps you to be able to take that first step and move things forward, even when you are a little nervous about it, even when you might be afraid of the big thing happening that you're dreaming of, right? And when you do this work, and when you truly cultivate a solid belief in yourself and in your abilities, you become unstoppable. All right. So that brings us to number 6. This is a really good one. And actually, I would have to say, out of all of these, this might be the one that helped me completely change and transform my life into all that it is today and all that it will be in the future, because I'm not done, my friends. I'm just getting started. Maybe you feel that way too. I think in many ways, we are all just getting started, and it has nothing to do with age. I know people in their 80s who have started new businesses. I think it's so fantastic. In fact, I just saw something on Instagram the other day about a couple who was like 91 and they were getting married. And I just thought it was the sweetest thing. It's all how you see things, and we're all just getting started. So with that being said, number 6 is be willing to invest in yourself. You are your own best investment, and you are the only investment you can make where you actually have some control over the results, right? Because you're investing in yourself. You're not relying on some external factor to do a certain thing before you see a return on your investment. I love this quote from Warren Buffett. He says, "The best investment you can make is in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn." And I love that so much because it is so true. A lot of people are hesitant to invest in themselves and enroll in programs in their own personal or professional development and growth because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to spend that money. It comes from a place of lack. And believe me, I've been there before. But when you actually realize that your best investment is in you. Nobody can ever take away from you the growth and the things that you learn when you invest in yourself and you get into some programs, or, a gym membership is a great example. Any type of a program that grows you and supports your mental, physical, and professional health and well-being, right? Is investing in you, and investing in your own dreams and personal development can pay off big in so many ways. As Mr. Buffett says, the more you learn, the more you earn. There also is some research that shows that people who invest in their own personal development and professional development, and of course, your well-being, that they actually see an increase in revenue in their business or an increase in their salary over time because their performance increases and their positive energy increases and their ability to make things happen, right? Which is the topic of our show today, increases. It's such a big one. So with that, I also have to mention that the Joy School, which is my new monthly membership program, is getting ready to open. It is so close. And I can't tell you how incredible this program is going to be. Amazingly supportive, like a gym membership for the soul and for accomplishing your dreams and for your own self-care and creating your best life and becoming the best version of you. When I needed something like this, I couldn't find anything out there like it. This is literally my dream program, and I'm so excited to share more about it when it launches with you all. But if you're intrigued by this, by creating this kind of a support and community in your life and having access to so many incredible tools and a whole library of coaching and mindset concepts and best life creation classes and inspiration sheets and all kinds of good stuff, jump over to jointhejoyschool.com where you can read more about it and jump on the VIP wait list there. You'll also get a free gift when you do that. But that way you'll be the first to know when the doors open because it is happening very soon, my friends. And I could not be more excited to offer this all to you in a super dynamic and incredibly affordable way. Like, coaching is probably the thing that's made the biggest difference in my life. And this program is going to be so dynamic and so accessible. And that was my dream, really. I remember back when I was looking for things to support me, I would find programs that were tens of thousands of dollars. And I was like, I just am not, it's not that I don't want to, I'm just not in a place for that right now. And so a lot of the work that I did in my life, it took me a lot longer than it would have if I had been in some kind of a program. And it did end up costing me a lot more money because instead of investing in one big program, I invested over the years in numerous smaller ones. But I have to tell you, it's been great for me. And it's also put me in the position to take the best of the best of the best of everything that I've learned, along with all the coaching that I've developed those skills, and put it all into one place to save everybody money and time and pain and struggle, right? And that was really my goal. So jump over to jointhejoyschool.com because I am just so excited to welcome anybody who this resonates with inside that community when we launch. All right. With that, it brings me to the part of the show called the Joy School Habits. And this is where I share a little challenge or a little habit that is a little bit of effort that can also have big impact. I love things with a great return on investment that don't take a lot of effort, but can create big results. And that's what this segment is all about. And this one this week is kind of a fun one. And that is take a little bit of time to be mindful about leveling up your drinkware. So this sounds totally random, but it is so much fun. So there's actually studies being done on how the shape of our glassware can affect how much we drink, what we drink, how we think about what we're drinking. And if you're drinking out of the same mundane glasses all the time, you might want to think about leveling it up. It'll help you stay hydrated. It can bring you joy, right? I mean, who doesn't love to drink out of a fancy goblet or a beautiful wine glass, even if you don't drink? Now, I want to share, and I believe I've noted this before, that I've drastically cut down on alcohol in my life this past year. And one of the things I've done that was really helpful with that was I started still allowing myself to enjoy sipping out of a beautiful wine glass. I have beautiful crystal wine glasses that I just love. But I'll drink like a little bit of grapefruit juice with some sparkling water. Or I will make like a virgin mimosa with a splash of OJ and some sparkling water and a slice of orange and a little slice of rosemary, right? Make like a fancy mocktail. Or I'll just drink my morning juice out of a beautiful glass, right? Or a fancy goblet. And we all know, most of us who are coffee drinkers, we have a favorite coffee mug, right? There are psychological reasons for this. And so it can be really fun to really take note of your drinkware. What are you drinking out of? What are you reaching for first, right? I don't know about you, but for me in the morning when I go to make my coffee, if my favorite coffee mugs are dirty and in the dishwasher, I'm kind of bummed out. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'll drink out of this one today. It really does make a difference. This is a small thing that when you shift it a bit can bring a little bit of joy to your life. And as I mentioned, also help you stay hydrated. Find healthy beverages that are low in sugar and hydrating and fill beautiful glasses with them and enjoy them throughout the day and evening. All right. Oh, the other thing too, I was going to mention, a friend of mine has this gorgeous glass water bottle that actually has crystals in the bottom. I believe they're amethyst, and they charge the water with positive energy and the energy of abundance. And I love that idea. And you can even Google online drinking water with crystals and how to use crystals with drinking water and different things. And if that appeals to you, there are ways to do that as well. But really, it's all about what makes you feel good. So that's the Joy School habit for this week. Take a little bit of an inventory of your drinkware, notice mindfully what your favorites are, and work on drinking out of those more often and see just the little bit of extra joy and hydration that brings to your life. All right, friends, if you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you would hop over and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite platform. This truly helps the show and it helps it reach more people who might also enjoy it. And I read them all. Please share with your friends on social media and be sure to connect with me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram quite a bit, and I love connecting with you there. I'm very involved in those communities. And you can visit my website at KristiLingSpencer.com, where you can download some free gifts, and there's some great articles there for you and other resources. And you can also find the link to get on the VIP waitlist for the doors opening of the Joy School coming up. I am sending you so much love. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, remember, you've got what it takes to create more amazing days. And more amazing days make up a pretty amazing life. So go out there and be the make it happen person that you are at your core. Have a fantastic week, my beautiful friends, and I will see you soon.